All right. This looks like we're finally live. Woo, took several attempts to make this happen, but I'm learning some new things. So we're here today. It's Thursday, February the 27th, 2025. It's about 1:30 p.m. Mountain Time. This would be 12:30 p.m. Pacific Time, or if you live in the Central Time Zone, it would be 2:30 p.m. And if you're on the East Coast, it would be for you 3:30 p.m. Again, I apologize for coming on late. I was supposed to be on at 1:15, and then nothing seemed to go through correctly. It wasn't my internet because that's my modem is fine, and I paid my bill. So here I am today with Clear Blue Radiance. A brand new topic for today is Decreed It Shall Be, Speak as I Am. Now, usually I try to get to this as quick as I can. First of all, I would like to thank the president of Resident Essentials Esoteric School of Metaphysics and her channel here on YouTube. I'd like to give thanks to Michelle Vidal for trusting in me, being here as regular as possible every Thursday in the afternoon at 1:15 or 1:30 p.m. Today's podcast number should be either 198 or 200. So I've been doing them for ever. That's about 4 years. And I've missed maybe six times. Maybe once wasn't feeling well, just overwhelmed with work. And but I was thankful. So we're going to talk about this specific topic today. And I'm going to mention up front, if you need more information about Resonant Essentials, Esoteric School of Metaphysics, then you need to go to www.resonantessentials.com. I'm going to put it in the chat so that you'll see it. And when you go to that page, you could click on the link for events and you can see everything that's going on every month, every week. We have classes, courses there. There are online things going on there. I'm there every Saturday live in person. I'm teaching my Creative Pathwork meditation series for beginners, intermediate, as well as advanced meditators. Okay. And it's an opportunity to learn what metaphysics is all about. Michelle has classes, other people have classes and courses going on. So you go to www. I'm going to type it out right here. www.resonantessentials.com. And that's located at a brand new location that we've had since last April. We moved into this new location, which is 2703 Broad Bent Parkway, which is the industrial park area over there that runs kind of parallel to the I-25. And you get over there, and it's a beautiful place, and there's a lot of things going on. And we even have our own library in there toward the front. You come in there and you speak to one of the practitioners there, or specifically Michelle herself, and you could rent out. Hear me? You could rent out a book, and I have all seven of my books that I've written. I've donated them to that library. So, and there's hundreds of other books in there on astrology and so forth. When you go to the website, you will be able to see the calendar of events that go on. We have an astrology group run by Johanna Rader, and that's usually, I believe, on the third Saturday of the month, and sometimes on the second Saturday of the month. We have Albuquerque's Ions group in there. And all these run like from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. My meditations run from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So there's plenty of time to interact in the class, ask questions, and me find out how you're doing in my meditation class. Okay, during the week there are courses. I believe Michelle's got an 8 week course that's going to start soon. Maybe it's a 12 week course and it's going to start soon. It's called Intuitive Explosion, and it's going to take off on March the 12th. So you want to make sure if you're living here in Albuquerque, living around the city somewhere in the different sections, and you're interested in that course, I advise you to contact her right through the website, and you'll be able to get plenty of information. I also like to give a thanks to my crowd that comes in here, which is Barbara Ewing, Judy Tyndall will be in here. Also, she's Golden Timeline 777, I believe. Island Blossoms or Island Gardens is Barbara. Also have Indigo Moon comes in here. Usually have Will Phillip will show up occasionally. Um, we have Jackie Fillmore Antoine will come in here probably today. Linda Garcia will be here at some point today, and Holly Hemmett will be here. He's my nice brother there from California. Also, we might have in here from Australia, Melanie Hall. So I'm going to try to also, before I start this, I'm probably going to, what I should do, not say gonna, I'm going to say that I'm going to go live at the same time. I'm going to go live at the same time uh, and do this. Put me in a live mode on my Instagram channel. So let me put my phone here. So I'm also now live right now from my Instagram channel, so people could check me out. If my phone would try to stand still for a moment. All right, I'm in here. Yeah. So I'm here and I'm doing a broadcast at the same time simultaneously through my phone here on Instagram channel to get this information out to people. If you think other people should be in here, you got some friends, they might be hanging around home right now. You could take this link that you see right in your browser and it should bring them right here. Okay. So they can see this. If they're on Instagram, they'll be able to check me live right there on Instagram. So today's topic is called Decree and It Shall Be. And its purpose is to let you know that any word that you speak out of your mouth is constantly, consciously, and unconsciously creating your life. So, this is why we have to watch what we say, how we say it, and where our emotions are aligned and attuned to the words that we speak. Because many times things are happening and we wonder, like, well, why is this same story going on and on and on? And sometimes we have family members we may not get along with. We may have certain friends that we've stopped hanging out with. They've stopped hanging out with us. Perhaps we have coworkers that, if you work outside of your home, there's people who love to gossip, neighbors and so forth. So this kind of will help you kind of clear that platform so that your stage, your life that you are on will be more enhanced with more of your positivity about who you are. And I want to make sure that I can assist you in doing that. Now, am I a master of it? No. Am I perfect at it? No. But I'm very present in the moment. Yes. I get more excited as time goes on because we're in the sign of Pisces, and I'm a Pisces person, and next month on the second Sunday of the month, I'll be turning 73. So and I won't be working because what I'm going to do for that entire week, I'm going to try to take off that entire week for a change. So I can just have a break, spend some time to myself, indulge in some of my favorite soups that I make for myself, treat myself out if no one is treating me out, treat myself out to dinner, lunch, or breakfast, whatever, and have a blast. This is, I'm learning to have more fun in my life instead of working, 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 working all the time. You can work all day, and as my late parents would say, run your fingers into the ground, and then you feel sorry for it later when you're getting ready to leave the house permanently, leave the earth. Then you start thinking about all these things you wish you had done. So I'm making sure I'm doing what I need to do so I could be happier, because no one else can make me happy but myself. And that's the message for you as well. Well, over the past few years now, I've been teaching people various metaphysical and spiritual topics. And many spiritual and metaphysical people beyond my 50 years have been talking about us being spiritual beings embarking on a transformative journey through the human experience. And we are. We think we're just flesh and bone here, and we're not. We are more than that. Cardologer, master business cardologer, how you doing? Let me wave back to you. Now, I'm broadcasting through my laptop, so it'll be hard for me to bring someone in live through Instagram. I wish Instagram would put everything out more on my website, or maybe I had a second website I could actually see who's out here. Well, anyway, hey, Holly Hammett and Indigo Moon, who are on the YouTube channel with me. Well, one of the things that happens is that we are an infinite presence. We're outpouring divine intelligence that we have been given. We're born with divine intelligence, and we have to exercise it through our physical body, our emotional body, our mental body, and what I call our spiritual or the psychic energy body that we have, our etheric form. And the imprint of the cosmos is running through us all the time. It's not something that's separated from ourselves. So we have to learn how to exercise our spiritual nature onto the planet. We have to become an open door for that and kind of get our ego self out of the way. Now, we are truly a whole part of the divine I am presence, the universal prime creator element, which experiences itself through us. That's why we have this inner consciousness, and our body has eyes, ears, nose, mouth, fingers, feet. We can touch, we can experience everything that's going on here around us. And we have to learn how to record that and sift through a lot of that we experience, so we're not bringing imbalanced energy back into our homes and back into our physical form. And we are always struggling, many of us. I have done it with weight processes. I've changed the way I've eat. I try to exercise more, and it's a lot more than just physical exercise and physically consuming the right foods for your body. It's also your environment that you find yourself in too. If you're not making your environment comfortable for you, it's not going to work no matter what you do. Okay. I've run into people who have the perfect diet. They eat properly. They get all the rest they need, and they still mean-hearted people. Not kind at all. So you run across that, and many of us know that sometimes people that you acquired as friends when you were younger, like around in your teens, let's say, or earlier, but let's say when you're in high school, not all those people could travel with you, right? Many people from high school couldn't connect with you when you went off to college. Why? Because you acquired new friends at college. And every year you got new friends. And in between those years, you got new friends, right? And then when it was time for you to graduate, whichever level you got out at, I chose to get out at a bachelor's degree. I got fed up with professors and head games. They were trying to play with me all the time and all these other things that were going on. So I said, I'm not going to just put myself to the grind to get a master's or get a PhD. Now I look back and say, yeah, I could have done it. But look where God has me now. Look where the universe has me now. I'm better off now than I was trying to be a high school teacher, a college professor, or anything of that magnitude. Why? Because I'm doing something that I love to do, that I enjoy doing. I enjoy teaching metaphysics, spiritual topics. I enjoy teaching numerology. I just found out 6 years ago that I'm a writer. I can write. I got books out there on Amazon, and I'm trying to get them on other platforms as well. Written 7 books. That's a lot of books. And I've been here in Albuquerque 13 years. And my first book, I didn't even write here in Albuquerque. I revised it here. It's called Dancing in the Light of Divine Grace. But I wrote that book when I was living on Long Island, New York, back in the day, 2004, when I was over there. So there's this time frame that we must take advantage of, right? And learn how to put things into motion for ourselves. My late parents always used to say, especially my mother, who was my first metaphysical and spiritual teacher, she said, I don't care who's in the White House, you're supposed to be successful. I said, what? She says, I don't care who's in the White House. You must learn to be successful for you. So yeah, she's right. She's not here on the planet now, but yeah, she's right. She's been gone what 40 some odd years now. 44 years come May 13th. Well, I get it now. I'm not letting someone else make me happy. I'm making myself happy. That's what's necessary. Doesn't matter if you're in a friendship, business partnership, romantic relationship, marital relationship. It's on each person within those relationships to make themselves happy. Because if you waiting on someone else to make you happy, you're not going to be a happy camper, as they say. And the person who's trying to uplift you and make you happy, they're not going to feel happy about what they're doing. They're going to feel like you're impeding their progress. So you have to do what you can for yourself. You might want to take some laugh yoga classes. And you don't have to take the classes. Just start saying he, ho, 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 ha, 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 in any order that you want. And then do it randomly. And watch, you start laughing. You start laughing out of nowhere. You might find yourself laughing for 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 15 minutes, and then you just go on and on and on. Why? Because you're moving negative energy out of your space. That's the most important thing to do. Move negative energy out of your space. And if you could do that within your auric field, within the auric energy within your home or apartment, or for your property, you're going to see things get clearer and clearer and better. There's going to be a new version of yourself that you will birth. Okay. So it is highly important that we pay attention to the divine presence. We're literally walking in the heart of it all the time. Another way of stating what I'm saying here is that the divine presence that is everywhere is dreaming about itself, affirming itself, and being an active, colorful meditation in motion of itself. And as I just said, we are the open door. But we have to get the ego centric side of ourselves out of the way a little bit. We have to be our own guardian. Sometimes you have people sending you all kind of emails. I know I get bombarded. I got 2 email accounts or 3 of them, and so much nonsense. I can't even wade through it and get an email from one of my nieces because everybody's sending me their stuff. And sometimes it's okay, but sometimes it doesn't even vibe with me. And the people that are sending me that stuff knows that it doesn't vibe. So I have to basically unsubscribe from them or just block their emails, block their text messages, block their phone numbers. Because if I don't, I'll be answering 30,000 pieces of mail and never see the ones that are meant for me, that are loaded with love from family members. So we have to make changes, specific changes in our lives. So we're not being overwhelmed by trash. That's important. We don't need to be overwhelmed by trash. Also, if you're a person who enjoys watching TV, And I've been one of those culprits, I'll say. Just sit back and watch TV. I used to, well, I never put a TV in my bedroom. I never do that. Why? Because signals are getting sent out. I may have an iPad in there, but it's shut off, but I realize it's sending out signals. So I got something to block that. So there's no signals being released in my bedroom. So, same way, I leave my laptop on my desk here in the living room opposite my TV, and I shut it off and I cover it, and I got shungite sitting on it, so it's not radiating anything around this apartment. The only thing is radiating here is the vibration of selenite first. That's all that's radiates, and I have tons of selenite and big clear quartz clusters in here that's radiating this positive light that I want to put out to the world. So that's something you want to think about. Get yourself a piece of shungite. It looks like a flat black colored gemstone, and it's good to eradicate, erase, delete negative EMF energies out of your space. You want to do that. So we are this open door. We are allowing that inner, internal, metaphysical, spiritual, infinite presence to take up residence within us and also impact our nerve system, muscular system, skeletal system, all of our organs and lymph glands, our blood, you name it. It'll do it. It will create this new source of energy in ourselves. And we have to begin to tune in the way we breathe, the way we stand, the way we speak. That's going to be very, very important. Now, also, to kind of break down the statement about our dreams and using our words in an affirmative format and other things, this is actually based on a book I wrote. When did I write this book? I wrote this book way back in 2019. The book is called Decreed It Shall Be, Speak as I Am. And I'm going to read some of my own affirmations from here that will assess the situation in a positive way and give positive energy through this broadcast to you live. Okay. So our dreams are the workshops of our minds. Our dreams are the workshops of our mind. Now, why would you, or why am I stating that? Not you. Why am I stating that? Workout Rosie, how you doing? So, in this concept, in today's teaching, decreeing that it shall be, speak as I am, our dreams are the workshop of our minds. It's where we can creatively etch out our heart's desires. Our heart's desires are things that we hope to accomplish, things that we develop within ourselves that we want to give birth to into our own lives or into the lives of loved ones around us, into our communities, right? So these dreams are significant. Our dreams are powerful transformational tools, especially when they become lucid. Lucid is LUCID, lucid. Lucid means you become consciously aware while you are dreaming and while you are asleep. And if you could train yourself to awaken in the dream consciously and still let the body sleep, then you're in a better position to make changes in what you see in the dream. Now, in the beginning, it's difficult, and there are many books on the market that can teach you. I have one over here that's called deals with mastering, your dream world, or your out of body experiences. That's another way that they call when you leave your body. But even before you leave your body, you got to master the emotional state. You got to master the nerve system. so that you're not all over the place with the frequency that's flowing in the dream world, flowing in the astral realm. And even in my other books, Akhenaten and Nefertiti say you don't even want to be in the astral belt, because the astral belt is loaded with negative essences too. You want to rise above it. So you want to get up in a higher world, a higher frequency. And so it's important that when you discover lucid dreaming, that is when you can change the sceneries and change the outcome and change how you care to respond within the dream. Now, how can you do that? Well, one way, if you've never done it before, would be to consciously and subliminally tell yourself every day that you are going to change the outcome that you see in your dreams. You might tell yourself first over and over again, just before going to sleep, that last hour or so, that you're going to awaken within the dream world. When you say that you can awaken within the dream world, then what happens, you start seeing everything. Now, to me, in my level of understanding, the past 45, 50 years studying dreams, there's two ways beyond before the lucid state of dreaming. One is you see yourself like you're on a movie screen. You see yourself from head to toe interacting with the other people in the dream or other animals in the dream, or you're walking around. It's like you're in a movie theater watching yourself on the screen. That is more of a symbolic dream pattern of energy. Because now when you awaken, you got to write down colors, words that were being expressed to you or that you might remember saying to other people. You might describe the scenery more, but you don't feel it though, because it's up here. It's just you looking at it, okay? Looking at it through your physical eyes. But there is a way that when you once break through that obstacle, where you're no longer thinking you're having a dream, you're no longer believing, am I dreaming? No, you are dreaming. And that part of you has a special energetic body. I call it the dream body. Just like you're in your physical form, in the dream, there's a dream body that you begin to feel everything, and I mean everything. You start to smell, you start to taste, you can touch, you can hear, and you can see. But what's going on is not only are you using these two physical eyes here, you're using the third eye that's embedded toward the center and the back, just underneath the brain. That you're touching, and that allows you to see things psychically, spiritually, metaphysically speaking, and allows you to tune into that other gland that's right underneath the hypothalamus, which is your pituitary that connects into your crown. So, if you can get yourself to the point where you begin to remember the dream and then remember where you want to step into the dream so that you become lucid or awake in the dream, then you can control everything that you see going on. You can control everything, and I mean everything. So you might see a certain pattern of behavior that you have in your dreams. You can shift that. You might see how someone in your waking state doesn't get along with you. You can change that. You can get them to respond differently to you. And once you start doing that, and I'm not talking about you're like going to dominate or control the person, you just shift the energy just enough, just a tad. And what happens is you start reprogramming that energy in the dream world. And when you reprogram that energy in the dream world, then you are in control of how the energy is going to flow in the dream. So you might, let's say, had a dream where there was a lot of fear going on, a fear of disease, a fear of war, a fear of divorce, a fear of a breakup in relationships. So you start retraining yourself throughout the course of the day how you might want to respond, maybe what you want to say in the dream. And when you've created the right precipitation, the right feeling, then you start getting the dream and you start remembering that you are dreaming. And as you begin to remember that you are now having a dream, and you're now in your dream body because you don't see yourself, you see, you're feeling yourself, but you don't see yourself in the dream. That's when you have an opportunity to manipulate these finer things, the nuts and bolts of the dream. So you might say, okay, I'm no longer going to respond in this dream with any fear. I'm going to be more courageous. I'm going to have more self confidence. And you can do that. It's like having going through a dress rehearsal to do a play, or a band rehearsal to play music or to sing. In the dream world, that becomes the workshop of your mind. And you're able to take that and motivate yourself more and more so you could feel every inch of the dream. And then you begin to shift the dream scenes around. Now, that's important when you can do that, because then you are teaching yourself to respond differently in the dream. Now, why would you want that to happen? Because when you awaken, that very thing that you saw in the dream, which is truly real, and shamans have said it from one country to another, from one tribe to another, what you see and experience in the dream world is the real deal. Hey Jovita, how you doing? So what you experience, let me get her in here. Trying to wave to my friend Jovita. All right. Hopefully I'll get a second computer can do it just right. Okay. So what happens is you start manipulating the elements because you're going to respond differently in the dream. And the shamans say that the dream world is really your real world. It functions the same way as being in the physical body in the physical world. Because down here you make changes, but sometimes we make the change without understanding what we're really doing. But in the dream world, we have this opportunity to do that. Yes, yes, Javita. So what happens is you start practicing in the dream world for how you want things to happen for you in the earthly plane that you're maneuvering around. And when you start to do that, the more that you start to do that, the greater the control you're going to have on the earthly plane in Gaia's energy. So you want to treat yourself better. You can forgive yourself in the dream world, and that energy will trickle down, drip down into this world. You might say, okay, I haven't got along with my mom or my dad in a long time, or my one of my siblings, so I'm going to do a dress rehearsal. I'm going to position them in the dream like a movie, but it's real. And I'm going to create the atmosphere for change. And as you create the atmosphere for change, you are initially then planting seeds in your dream world. So think of that. You're planting seeds in the dream world and they begin to germinate. These are new ways of thinking, new ways of being, new ways of having, new ways of dealing with life on earth. As they begin to germinate, right? The roots come down etherically into this world, and then it begins to grow in this world. Now, what are you watering the seeds with? A true sense of who you are. You're embracing it with your emotional body so that you can lend it and give it more weight so that when it winds up in this world, It is what you claimed in the dream world. So the more you're able to do that, the better for you. Now, here's the second thing: the words we speak can create through an affirmative statement. Because the word affirm means to state that which you already know is the truth. State that which you already know is the truth, and now you're making it firm. You're making so that those words have a stronger presence in your life, and that's important. It has to have a stronger presence in your life for you to live it, for you to feel it, for you to become it, for you to see it. That's most important. So, this being able to use an affirmative statement or an affirmative prayer. Affirmative statement is an affirmation. So this allows us to speak our truths about who we are. Our words become the vehicle for our clear, elevated emotional energies. That's very important. If you're not feeling the words that you're saying, then it may have an adverse effect on you. So you got to make sure your emotional self is clear and pure enough, and your emotional side is sort of like the magnetic side. So what happens is you start to pull on that energy, making it stronger, pulling it into your life, into your auric field, into your radius. Okay. So when you're doing that using words, you're going to choose your words better for yourself so that they can carry the energy of good, high emotional energy. That's highly important. So, what is the next thing you want to be able to do? The next thing is our interactive meditations. Like if you meditate every day or twice a week, but you got to eventually become interactive. In other words, you got to participate in the meditation. So think of the meditation as another dream, another aspect of the dream, another aspect of your working state and your thinking state and your speaking state. So our interactive meditations overflow from and through and with silence from within ourselves. So we have to learn how to quiet the mind. If we can quiet our mind down and get into that silent state, that's a higher frequency than a mentally active state where you're thinking and analyzing all the time. And sometimes because we're thinking and analyzing all the time, what happens? It gets mixed with a lot of other stuff, a lot of other pools of energy. That's like walking down the street, right? Drive your car down the street, you get out, and you see various puddles of liquids. Now you look in there, and some's got oil from a car or a truck in that water. You don't want to trace through that because you bring that back into your car, your vehicle, and definitely bring it into your house. So you want to avoid that. But at the same time, there's little pebbles and pieces of glass and stone on the street. And sometimes you can't avoid it, but if where it is the clearest, you walk in that path. And then there's other paths, pools of energy where there's just literally garbage, old cigarettes and cigars stuff there, old food that's spoiled in those locations. You want to avoid that as well. In other words, you want to be able to clear your path first. Design it here. Feel it in the heart. Design it here. So feel it in the heart. So what can very well happen, like my book back there that says Radiant Heart. The heart radiates more energy than this because this gets tired and goes to sleep. Heart still pumping. You're thinking even when you go to sleep, your heart is still pumping energy out all the time. Yes, Javita. Javita states here, in my dreams, I am experiencing a new heights, right? Because I'm aware and I can control the outcomes in my dreams. Yes, that's what we're learning how to do. And that's why you don't want to have a TV in your room. You might have a radio in your room, or you just play some meditation music in your room. That's better. Okay. Why? Because you got soothing music in which to go to sleep by. But if you put on a TV set and have it in your bedroom, you're going to replay everything that you heard deeply in the subconscious side of yourself, because your subconscious side is like the universe, and it doesn't discriminate against you having positive or negative thought or feeling or experience. It's just going to regurgitate back to you, reverberate back to you what you've been thinking and feeling and saying, and how you've been acting all day long. And it's an accumulation of stuff, right? So once it gets released, it gets released back into your system, back into you. So we have to be very, very, very careful of what we are saying, what we are thinking, and what we are feeling, because it can override and show up in the dreams. If, again, an example, if you fall asleep watching TV and that TV is in your living room and you fell asleep in there, you're going to get the message from the TV set. You might hear about a ice cream sale, and you should be at a bake shop somewhere, or you should be at a swap meet somewhere. You should be at a clothing store. Whatever, you're going to see it because you heard it, and in your subconscious world, that's where it got embedded. When they had the movie, I guess it was in the early 80s or late 70s, mid 70s, late 70s or something. There was a movie called E.T. about a young boy that was visited by an extraterrestrial being. But here's the thing that was going on in the movie theater. Throughout the dream, there was a certain brand of candy in the dream. Now, that may have been put there for the movie director and the actors having a contract to sell that candy during the movie theater. And I think it was Reese's Pieces. Why? It was giving you the color of the candy bag, a color of the candy, and they were eating the candy. It was sharing it. So it was giving off a subliminal message through the dream for someone in the audience to get up and go out into the lobby and buy some Reese's Pieces. This happens all the time. You can watch certain movies where actors and actresses are drinking wine and just make out the bottle of wine, the label, drinking sodas, drinking other liquids, and they just give you just a slither of the container. Why? Because most of the people know what's in that container by the label's design. And then people are going out and about buying it while you're in the movie theater receiving it, seeing it as a part of the props. Now, what's interesting is people can be drinking water in a movie, in the film, and for some reason, people don't have the craving to go get some water. I don't know why that is, but that does happen. Okay, so we have to be aware of a lot of different layers of things that are happening around us. So, yes, the dreams become this metaphysical, spiritual, but highly colorful scenarios that we can see. And these things do stand out in very subtle ways to us. Now, one of the things we got to realize too is the more you can embrace silence around you, the better you're going to become. The more you can embrace silence around you, the better you shall become. I'll say it one more time. The more that you can embrace silence in your life, the better you shall be. Why? Because through silence, now in your homes or your apartment, wherever you're at, even if you're indoors, you have no radio on, no TV on, nothing on, you will start to hear the hum of lights, iridescent lights, natural lighting, as well as the fluorescent lighting. You're going to hear the hum. You're going to hear the hum of a radio or TV that's not on, but you're going to hear the electrical hum that is connected to it. You get so silent that you get past your walls in your own residence, your own dwelling, and you start hearing things next door, things down the street, things behind you, things across the street. And you're going to say, how do I know that? How am I doing that? Well, that's you naturally. You're naturally radiating something out and pulling something back in. And you're doing that 24/7, 24 days, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're doing that all the time. Even though you think you're asleep, but you're not. This is working overtime. This, the heart, is working overtime, and it will continue to work overtime because if your heart ain't pumping out blood, then physically you're not here, right? So this is always going to be working along with this eventually, and they link up together. Now, here's something else you need to be aware of, and these are some additional keys, and then I'll start pulling some affirmations from my book. Remain centered in the heart and rooted or grounded to Mother Earth. Remain attuned to Mother Earth's peaceful evolution and drop our egocentric mindset. Our egocentric mindset is me, myself, and I, is what we're trying to do. We think we have to control everything. We don't. You're trying to acquire something, a new vibration into your life, a new kind of energetic frequency into your life. And what's going on is sometimes our personal self, the ego, gets in the way. No, no, you can't do this. Why are you doing this? Pay attention to me. remember Holly and Indigo Moon? There was a song back in, I think, back in the 80s and the 90s, and it was called Me, Myself, and I. That meant a lot more than that, but that's what the ego is doing. Pay attention to me, pay attention to myself, because I'm inside of you. I'm a part of your consciousness. Me, myself, and I. So eventually you can get in a conversation with people and all you hear is I'm going to do this. I've done this. I didn't do this. I haven't done this. I should be doing this. And you'll be able to hear that all the time. But you don't want to become what? Stuck in that energy. Because if you become stuck in that energy, then you can't come out of it. You'll be like falling backwards. So you don't want to be falling backwards. You want to at least fall forwards, right? Not backwards. So here's something else that's additional. Be a beacon light for yourself. Be a beacon light for yourself, your loved ones, your surrounding community, and then eventually you become a beacon light for the world. What's a beacon light? It's a tower with that light at the top, right at the edge of a cliff or on the top of a mountain, built in. Why? Because ships at night sometimes get lost. Ships at night, and there's a person in there sending out Morse code with the light. There's a universal Morse code, so when the boats come through, if the boat commander is lost, he sends out a signal, and that beacon light person receives the signal and then answers and can let them know, hey, there's a little iceberg out in front of you. You need to steer northwest or northeast or west or south so you don't run into it. You need to go around it or you're going to run into it. That's what the person in the beacon light is doing. But that, in essence, is yourself. Your beacon light is similar to, I would say it's not similar, it is you as your higher self redirecting your path. Or as we say, redirecting your footsteps so that you are back on board doing what you are supposed to do so you can receive better for yourself. Here's another thing. Pray from your heart, pray from here, but not from here. See, up here, there's worries and anxieties and old repetitive images of things not working out. They're stored right here. They're stored throughout the body, but they come up here first. So you don't want to relive something that's old. You want to live something that's new. You want to be in the present moment doing it. Another step, forgive others as much as you can. Now, the reason why I say that, because there's some people you know around you, they don't want any forgiveness from you. They're still angry with you, right? There's a lot of those people. So no, I'm not accepting your apology. No. That's why they want you to genuflect in front of them. Get down on your knees and bow. No, don't do any of that stuff. You don't have to waste your time doing that. So you said, well, how can I forgive the person if the person is not in front of me? Energetically, we're giving off signals. Energetically, the heart is beating. Energetically is the brainwave level. And then we got the rhythm of the heartbeat, and we're moving around on the earth. So they're around. You just don't see them. Why? Because you're clearing your space permanently. When you start to clear your space, like you vacuum your rug, you wash the blinds, you wash the windows. What else? You wash floors, wash dishes, you light up some incense. That's clearing the energy in your own space. So you must do it here. You can't take them with you in your mind. All you do is worry and create more anxiety for yourself. You can't bring them here with you in your heart because you wind up having a stroke or a heart attack. So some of those people can't come to the same place where you're going. They can't. Someone said, "Well, I'm a mountain climber." "Oh, I'm not a mountain climber." "Well, I'm a camper." "Well, I'm not a camper. So I'm not going to try to camp. I'm not going to try to climb the mountain. I'm going to find a way around the mountain. Because as we know, what goes up, what must come down. So if you're going up a mountain, eventually you're going to come back down. And now you're coming down the steep end. And if you can't rappel your down, which is with the ropes and all of that, and the hooks and the stone, you got to come on down gradually. And there's some places that are straight drops. They're not on angles. So you're not going to be able to go up the same way that you came down. So you got to change. You got to have an alternative route, an alternative plan. That's very important. If you don't, it's going to be bye bye for you. Or as the old detective shows used to say, with what was his name? Something other Robinson. He was a real short Italian guy. He used to say, "Curtains for you." Closing of the curtains, blocking you out. So you got to do things that create change, and it has to be a positive change. I hope I'm not talking too fast and that you're getting this information. Here's something else. Forgive as Forgive others as much as you can. But here's the better way to forgive them. Start with yourself. Forgive yourself. Take a look at, I always say this, the mirror, a mirror technique. Go and look at yourself and a reflection of the mirror and bestow as much love as you can in the reflection of yourself. And when you feel that energy build up, now forgive yourself. And you might say to yourself, I forgive myself for allowing myself to let that person into my life, knowing full well it wasn't going to work. I forgive myself for allowing myself to enter this odd and unusual relationship where I didn't know anything about that person's background and found out the hard way. Meaning they stole money from me, stole jewelry from me, stole my car. I didn't know that they had a drinking or drug problem. Now that ruined me. Didn't ruin them, it ruined me. And now I got to rebuild all over again. So you want to start loving yourself and forgiving yourself because none of us are perfect. We're all going to make some mistakes. We're all going to do something that's going to trigger something else. That's a given. That's going to happen. Let it happen and clear yourself as quick as you can. But what you want to do is stay in the present moment. When you're forgiving yourself, you want to start sliding into the past, that old negative energy, because then trying to forgive yourself in that old negative energy is not going to hold up for you. Stay in the present moment. That's important because the present moment, the here and the now moment, is the gift to yourself. The here and now moment is the gift to yourself. Now, the next thing, again, going back, is learning to love yourself and others unconditionally. But you got to love you first. People say, put other people ahead of you. You know what happens when you do that? Loving other people ahead of you run out of gas. You get tired. Then now you didn't do anything for you. Now you're going to take shortcuts. You don't have the same impact as it did for others. So make yourself number one on the list. When you're praying for others, pray yourself in place first. When you forgive someone, forgive yourself first. And then the universe hears that level of forgiveness, that level of sincerity inside of you. The heart is felt by the universe and will then carry the right frequency, the right message with the right frequency to the right person. It's not going to be all over the place. Greetings, Barbara. It's going to show up with the right person. When it shows up with the right person, then that we say it's on target. It's on point. That's what you're striving to do. You're striving to do everything so it is on point for you. When it's on point for you, you cannot fail. Failure does not exist in the world of divinity. Everything that was an anomaly, as they call it, and things that seem to be out of harmony and things that don't look right, they're right. The universe knows how to plug a spot when it must. Just like, the beaver can plug a hole and put a dam in place and redirect. You can do exactly the same. So you're going to forgive yourself and you're going to learn to love yourself first, unconditionally. I mean, there's no strings attached. When you're doing it for yourself, there are no strings attached. In other words, many of us have heard this when people have gone to church, Christian church, and Muslim temples and Jewish synagogues. Children have always heard this. Adults, Sister so and so, how you doing? Rabbi so and so, how you doing? Sheikh so and so, how you doing? So I'm blessed and highly favored. Well, guess what? So is everybody. Not just the person that said it. Everybody's blessed and highly favored. Highly favored by whom is the question. Highly blessed by whom is the question. The answer is the higher self, which carries the reflection of divine source in you, is the one that's blessing you. Hello there, Sally Slayhouse. How you doing? So these things are happening on your behalf for you. The universe is backing you. It's bringing you what you need. You just have to pay attention. We all have to do this. We all need to pay attention to what the universe is providing for us through us because we are a part of the universe. When we are a part of the universe, then we receive exactly what we're supposed to receive because now we have to raise our frequency, our resonation up so that we are a part of that which is greater than ourselves. So here's another additional point: be true to yourself, or be your true self, which is your higher self, while living in a state of harmony and grace. Grace is ease. Grace is not so much you thinking, well, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna get that, or I'm gonna misfire here, but I'm gonna still get blessed here. No, way it kind of works is grace is a spiritual, metaphysical element within itself. And it's embedded in every living thing. It's embedded in every non-living thing. It's embedded in the earth, in the seeds, in the flower beds. grace exists everywhere, but often we may not see it clearly because we are kind of stuck in the realm of self. So I have to announce to everybody, it's hard for me to put everybody in live, because then what happens is, being that I'm on my phone, I'm not like how can I say this? When I'm broadcasting to my phone simultaneously and I'm on my laptop, I can't get to both of them properly. So I can just wave. But you can still pop a question in or pop a comment in. You can still do that. I can still see it. So you want to become or be your true self. Your true self is known as your higher self. And the higher self is the part of you that's living in a state of perfect harmony and grace. Grace means without merit, but it also means with ease. Grace is your true state of being, your true self. That means grace, you're not worried about nothing. Grace, you're receiving all that you need to receive. Grace, you're going to be all that you desire to be. Grace, whatever you're hoping for, it's going to materialize. Grace, you're going to step out of the way with the personal ego and you become more of the higher self. That's what we need to do now. With everything you see going on in the world, to build up your confidence in yourself in this world, you must become your higher self. Who is the higher self or the highest self? The higher or highest self is the reflection of divine source that's spread out through the cosmos. When you become more of your higher self, you start attracting. People say, "Well, I want to meet the galactic brothers and sisters." Oh, don't worry, you will become more your true self, more your higher self, and you'll see them as pure light beings, and they will see your pure light flowing through your auric field. You'll almost become them. They will almost become you, but it'll be just enough so you can see each other clearly. You got an ancestor who has passed on. If you act more as your higher self, you will see them walking around you. You don't have to go, well, who was that walking through my home? Was that my mother? Was that my favorite grandmother? Was that my poppy, my daddy? Oh yeah, because now you change the frequency in the heart. You're more loving, you're kinder, you have a great deal of understanding, and you are expressing and living the light of your higher self, which is your true self, and then you transform everything in your environment. And as you transform everything in your environment, you begin to attract higher frequency beings, people that have higher positive energy, higher emotional energy, right? Higher, in other words, people will recognize you for who you truly are because they can see it. They can see your light. They're not going to be arguing with you. If there's someone around you that has a lot of negativity, they're going to avoid you. Why? Because you're radiating too much love, too much unconditional love, no conditions, too much light. So this is very, very important. You learn to love yourself and others unconditionally. You become kinder, but you got to be kind to yourself, not harsh. You be more of your true self, which is your higher self. Now you live in a state of true harmony. That means you can sit home and know when you're supposed to be out. You sit home and know when you're supposed to be in your car. You could be bone tired from work. You got to drive home, and grace will sift through you and come in you. You'll be like a puppet for the higher self, and it'll be walking you to your car in pitch blackness at night. It'll put you in your car. It'll allow you to turn on the heat and be as warm as you need to be, or with the air conditioning. It will take you to a gas station that you normally don't go to, and ain't a soul there but you, other than the proprietor at the store. You give them the money, give them your car, do what you got to do, get back in your car, and be on your way and be home safely. Why? Because the spirit of grace is now functioning through you and is creating all harmony to exist with you. That's what happens. You don't have to use this and say, okay, I got to figure out which way to go home now. No, the heart is going to take you home. Your heart is going to make sure you get home safely. Your heart is going to make sure you are who you say that you are. So let me read some decrees. This is my book. I wrote it in 2019. Decree and it shall be. Speak as I am. Now, usually I like to read some of the affirmative prayers in here as well because they get you on board. And also, when I read them, it allows me to become triggered, and then I can just yank one up out of the ethers for you. So we're going to start with some affirmations here. And I'm going to give you several affirmations from this book. I'm going to start, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 affirmations I'm going to give you. And I want you to receive the affirmation like you're sitting in a meditation, starting right now. I affirm each and every day that I am healthy, happy, and grateful. I affirm that I am living in harmony and my life overflows with prosperity, abundance, and the goodness of life. I affirm that I have my life with a greater sense of purpose. I have come to the realization that I am one with divine source. I affirm this truth. Each morning that I awaken from a deep sleep, I affirm that I am whole and complete. I affirm that I am in a better place now than ever before in my life. I am feeling great joy, and I affirm that I am joyful every day of my life. As I open my heart, I feel loved and healed through love. I affirm that I am living a peaceful and harmonious life here and now. I affirm I am one with the source of divinity within me, and all is well. Well, those that know you, well, here's the thing. Your energy as it shifts. This is from um, Z-Man Photo 63. His question is, what about those who know your energy, the company near you to absorb your energy? Well, here's the thing. If they're not on the same plateau with you, not on the same frequency with you, they won't override your energy. What happens is not so much you overwhelming their energy, your just field of energy just gets larger. You got to remember your auric field is big. And if you want, you can extend your auric field so that the circumference of it is like 55 feet. You can make it so the radius is 110 from the center of your being out around you, running through you. That's how strong, that your energy field can project. And you can project even farther. When you radiate the essence of who you are, the right people who share that in a positive way, who don't even know you, but they're positive, they will be drawn into your field. I remember many years ago when I lived at another location before I moved here, I was practicing Tai Chi movements. And I got real deep into the Tai Chi movement. And I was at a small, tiny community park. because you can see all the streets that lead to the park. And I was sitting in there doing the Tai Chi after some meditation. My back was toward the roadway and I was facing east, not west. And within 15 minutes, I could feel somebody standing behind me, but not on top of me, standing like maybe 10 feet away. And I kept doing my Tai Chi movement. And I got more rooted into the earth and I started playing it off the huge trees around that property. And then, boom, I sense there's someone here with me. There's two people here with me. Two people a little older than me right in this park with me. I turned around, it was a Chinese guy and his wife following my Tai Chi movement. And when I was done, he said he lived on the other side of the golf course. So you walk through that park, across the street, you can see the golf course. Now, when you're looking at it, you see it 50 yards away back, and there's the golf building. And he's on the other side of that where there's a side street. He said he was sitting out with his wife having some water, some juice, some coffee, and breakfast, and they're on their patio. And all of a sudden, he sensed something changed. He said to his wife, let's go see what that is. It took him about 10, 15 minutes to walk from his area around the golf course to where I was. And he told me, I said, what did you see? He says, I saw a man, your complexion, your height. And I told my wife, I want to go see who he is. He picked me up in his radius of energy. So when you're on a positive plateau with your light, like a beacon light, and just putting out their love, putting out their grace, putting out their positive thoughts, and feeling every word that you're saying, the right people on your frequency find you. And that's what this is about. Decree and it shall be. Speak as I am. I am meaning the divine presence in you, known as I am, the universal energy I am. That's what flows through your veins, flows through you. So here's something else. I affirm that in every moment my frequency is higher and I'm feeling great. I am feeling great joy and I affirm that I am joyful every day of my life. And again, as I open my heart, I feel loved, healed through love. I affirm that I am living peaceful and harmonious life here and now. That's what you're putting out into the ethers. It's here and now. Yes, Javita says you become like a magnet, and now you're controlling the energy in your personal space. Nothing gets into that space unless you want it to. So you're going to send out a high frequency of light, unconditional love, kindness, compassion, understanding. Why? Because the more you send into your space and you do it with a sense of grace, which is ease and expectancy, just like a mother who is pregnant expects to give birth to a wonderful baby boy or girl, your baby boy or girl is going to be a light out into the world. And it says, when you do that, I affirm I am one with the source of divinity within me. All is well. Why? Because you are well, meaning you are highly balanced. You're living in a state of peace. And there's nothing better than peace because you have become the peace that you are speaking into existence around you. You could be in a park by yourself and somebody can come in there with bad intentions, but it'll be so much peace coming out of you that they change. And you know that they're there. And you will invoke a greater force field of light. You will invoke your ancestors from the other planes to show up. You will invoke angelic forms to show up. You will invoke birds, buzzards, bees, snakes, and everything to show up on your behalf. And the earth shall respond to your word, to your love that's on a higher frequency that is unconditional. And things will change because they have to change. So I'm going to give you guys here, all of you, an affirmation. These are affirmations for personal power. I got to take off my glasses because they're fogging up. Hold on a second. Now, in this personal power affirmation, there's going to be there's going to be three parts in here where I'm going to say for you to repeat your name. And when you repeat your name in the verses, then this becomes a living affirmation of personal power for you. So there's actually one, two, three, there's actually 5 lines where I'm going to tell you to say your name. But I'm going to couch it by saying it this way, starting off with through divine power and by divine grace. Now I'm going to say I, and then you say your name. Affirm that the presence of infinite divine source dwells in me right now. I live in total oneness with this truth. Just feel it. And now I'm going to say I again. To yourself, say your name. Affirm that I remain in direct alignment with infinite divine source in every moment of my life. I embrace the truth of its presence right now. I say your names. Affirm that I have a direct connection with my cells throughout my body, and my communication is quite clear with every cell. I send them unconditional love, and they reciprocate the same to me. The creator of all life dwells in me. The breath is holy and divine. I say your name. Know we are one. I affirm this truth lives in me now and forever. The creator is my unfailing supply. I say your name. Affirm that I am prospering abundantly in every area of my life. So now you've said your name 5 times, and it's enlightening and bringing your energy higher. Once you understand what an affirmation is and what it does for you, you can omit the word or the use of the word affirm because you already understand it, you see. And then that truth that you're stating becomes you on every level. Essentially, you are living the truth, and your life is the external expression of the affirmations. We can program ourselves with the use of affirmations, for each word carries its own frequency. So now we will continue. I don't even have to say the word affirm because it's already permeating through you because you are already expressing it. The beauty of nature is a living affirmation of Mother Earth as it exudes a supreme palette of life in many organic forms. The simple yet complex beauty of Mother Nature brings forth joy, harmony, beauty, and peace. I see this and more within me. As the presence of divine source, as God in me, I radiate the beauty, harmony, and unconditional love as my true nature of oneness. Every thought and feeling that I have flows from the divine presence through me now. I lack nothing because I have become a magnet for prosperity, better health, wellness, and goodness in my life. I live an abundant life with harmonic peace. I am truly grateful for my life, family, friends, and life's opportunities to fulfill my destiny. My heart expands with the total awareness that I am loved. I love all people, and all people love me. I'm going to state that part because that's one of the most magnetic statements. I love all people, and all people love me. That means people that match your frequency, that are just like yourself, loving and kind like yourself. They're going to love you just like you love them, but doing it unconditionally. Good things are multiplying in my life daily with good measure. I open my heart wide to embrace uncommon and infinite blessings of goodness. My life is overflowing with more love, joy, laughter, and new experiences. I feel the goodness in all beings, seen and unseen. I feed myself the nutrients of positive thoughts, feelings, unconditional love, peace, and the willingness to listen to how they express the divinity within them. So now, before I close this out, I'm feeling full, which means I got to release what I'm feeling to all of you. This is for my people on YouTube and on Instagram. Through divine power and by divine grace, I affirm here and now that there is an unfailing supply of abundance and prosperity entering each and every person's life right now. I affirm clearly and distinctively that all of you are overflowing with not only your gifts to offer to the world, but these gifts become blessings upon the path that you walk. Even when you lay down, whether you're on your couch and in your bed, you are overflowing with goodness, overflowing with unconditional love, overflowing with the understanding, overstanding, and the understanding that you are a divine being known as your higher self. I hereby decree and say that it shall be, that whatever you touch shall become present and sufficient in your life. You will have an all sense of sufficiency in your life and will be done efficiently and effortlessly and without pain and without suffering in your life. I hear, see, and decree that whatever you touch shall become a part of you. That means whatever is good for you shall be good for you because it is you. It is an extension of you. I hereby declare and say that you shall do better. There's a better version of you. And guess what? We're in another timeline, we're in another new paradigm, and it's called you. You are the personification of the new paradigm. You're going to slide away. All of us are going to slide away from the third dimension, and we're going to feel the presence strongly through the heart chakra of the fourth realm of consciousness, which is what? Unconditional love, which is what? Which is grace, which is what? Which is greater peace and harmony and happiness, a better version of yourself that is infinite and that is continuously growing. As I'm saying these words, I want you to think of a favorite color or colors that you like. That when you see those colors, it uplifts you into a state of total happiness. I want you to allow yourself to become your higher self, starting right at this moment. You become a living higher self right now. You're not waiting until you get off the planet to go back into your higher self. You are embracing yourself as your own truth, your higher self right now, which is infinite and divine, right? It's overflowing with divine intelligence, with a spirit that is connecting it to far greater things than it ever has imagined before. You are now your higher self. You are now in infinite levels of abundance and prosperity and better health and good health. Blood pressure don't exist. You don't have low blood pressure and you don't have no high blood pressure. You have the right amount of pressure in the blood like it should be. You start to draw to you the pH factor, the higher levels of pH, so that you remain healthy. I see and decree that whatever you understand is you, you shall become that, more of that, and it will what? Manifest and materialize according to the goddess nature of all life. You shall transcend and transform everything in this physical world because you simply can. And you are saying who you are. Say this to yourself: I am that I am. Say it a second time: I am that I am. Say it a third time: I am that I am. Say it a fourth time: I am that I am. Say it a fifth time: I am that I am. Say it a sixth time: I am that I am. And say it in the seventh time: I am that I am. And now you're going to say, I see and decree that it shall be that I am my higher self here and now. And allow yourself to receive that truth of who you are. You're your higher self, ushering in a fourth dimensional consciousness, and so that you could speak from the fifth realm of consciousness, that whatever you say shall begin to materialize and manifest into your life. And you'll recognize it because you can see it and feel it all at the same time. And you've heard people say, all is well that ends well. Nothing has ended, it continues to grow through you. Let it grow through you in your life. You're the open door and you're the guardian of your own life. You have divine wings called thoughts and feelings, and they're truly in alignment right now. You're protected by your own words of divinity and kindness. So live in a state of gratitude and harmony for yourself, and know that you can achieve whatever you desire and that you're not doing it alone. There are hidden factors, and those hidden factors are divine beings that are always walking with you. Thank you for joining my program today. Clear Blue Radiance for today, Thursday, February the 27th, 2025. And it was entitled Decreed It Shall Be, Speak as I Am. Know that you are a blessing to yourself and loved ones in your life, and all things that enter your life shall embrace you as the light. You're welcome, Javita. I'd like to welcome other people that were here. See if I can get them all on here. Hold on a second. Let me. Goddess Rhonda, where you been? Haven't seen you in a while. I'm getting ready to sign off here. Today's program podcast, my Clear Blue Radiance podcast for Resident Essentials that I do every Thursday. Today's title was Decree and It Shall Be, Speak as I Am. So there's much that's happening. Z Man Photo 63, you're always welcome. Thank you for being here. Sally Slayhouse, thank you for being here. There was Workout Rosie, thank you for being here. Master Business Cardology, thank you for being here. And this was sometimes what I try to do is simulcast at the same time on Instagram. I have a channel there. It's iam.circleofgrace1 on Instagram. I am on the Resident Essentials YouTube channel, which is www.youtube.com/ at Resonant Essentials 4314. And that's the channel. So if you're on YouTube, you can look it up and you can see the previous ones as well as ones here. I want to thank Barbara Ewing for being here, better known as Island Princess, Holly Hemmett for being here, Indigo Moon for being here. And I know there were some other people in there as well. So I want to thank everybody that was able to see it. And those of you that are in YouTube here, you can always come back to Resident Essentials channel and see it within about less than 30 minutes. I want to thank others that may have been in here, which is Melanie Hall from Australia. I also want to thank Jackie Fillmore Antoine, Lauren White, who may have been here as well today. I want to thank Linda Garcia, who was also here, Cynthia Jones, who had a chance to perhaps see it live as well. There's so many people to state this to, but you all know who you is. Sometimes speak with not correct grammar is just as better as good grammar. Um, Jimmy Lamuel, I believe, was in here too. So I want to thank everybody for joining me. I should be back next Thursday on the time of 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 2 p.m. Central and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are in the sign of Pisces. So my birthday is March 16th. That's a Sunday. And them days after that, I'm planning to take off. So I may not do a Clear Blue Radiance podcast. But anyway, thank you for your time. Thank you for always being supportive to me and coming on here. If you want to know what I'm doing on my own website, you're going to go to www.circleofgrace1.us and then a /. So I will, well, if you're on Instagram, you go to my Instagram page, you'll see the link right there. And then you'll see what I'm doing. I'm actually teaching 2 classes. I'm in the middle of a numerology course. The key to life is numerology. This is the third installation of it being taught online for 13 weeks. I started it on May, not May. I started it on, excuse me, Wednesday early evenings at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It already began, so I'm not letting any other people in, but it runs for 13 weeks. It'll run all the way up to April the 30th. And So it's about my book, The Key to Life is Numerology. We're having a blast already. We're learning how to interpret numbers and names and later date of birth. So I'm using my own book in which to teach it from. And then starting on Tuesday, starting Tuesday, ooh, starting Tuesday, March the 4th for 13 weeks online, I'm going to be teaching right here my book, Radiant Heart, the 7 amazing pathways to connect, activate, and communicate with your higher self. You'll find them listed on www.circleofgrace1.us, single forward slash, and you'll see that book. And the course starts then. It costs something to join it, but you don't have to join them right away. I'm always going to be repeating them. So take care of yourselves, be healthy with yourself, love yourself more, love those that matter in your life. Put out a blessing of light as a beacon light for others in your surrounding communities, especially for the homeless. You know, the homeless is experiencing all over the world a lot of mental illness issues. People are not trying to be homeless, it just occurs in their life due sometimes, yeah, their decisions, but sometimes things that are beyond them. So let's pray for the homeless. Let's pray for the disabled. Let's pray for children, especially, and seniors. I'm a senior. Let's pray for those who need the prayer so that they can also receive higher consciousness and enlightenment in their life. All right, my throat is about to shut down now, so it's time for me to go. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone on Instagram, and hopefully you'll be able to see this, catch this live another way. Take care of yourselves. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Same time, same back cave. All righty. So, everybody here on Facebook, well, I'm not on Facebook, but here on YouTube, as you know, this guy needs to sleep, right? Thank you for joining me, everybody. Holly Hemmett, really appreciate it. Indigo Moon, Barbara Ewing, and many others who get here a little later, like Melanie or Julie Tyndall or Cynthia Jones or Linda Garcia, um, Jen Merriman, so many other people. Samara Woods will probably all see this later, so I'm mentioning the names now so people can receive that. And people who were on Instagram, they can go receive this and view the video now. It's already back up there. Wow, that happened quick. All right. So thank you, everybody. Be nice, well to yourself, embrace yourself, take care of yourself, your loved ones, and I'll see you next Thursday as I come on here. Yeah, thank you for the knowledge. Thank you for the presence of being in my life, everybody. It's really important and gives me something to look forward to all the time. And many of you know that I've been doing some things where I'm getting a closer connection with Dr. Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith of Agape International Spiritual Center. So we're in touch a lot. We text each other a lot. He's a texter and he's fast. I love his intentional affirmative prayers that he shares with me every morning. And they're really intense, they're gentle and sweet, and they open me up into a new level of awareness for myself. Even though I'm aware of these and I've been teaching on that level, but when I get it from somebody else and it's like him, it strikes a match and lights me up. So I'm happy that that is now a part of my life. Agape International Spiritual Center, and I'm looking to take my time. I'm also being invited by a digital magazine, and it's called Bold Journey. Michelle turned me on to them, so I'm going to be interviewed by them. It might be in print on their website, or it might be in audio with myself and other people. But it's called Bold Journey, and they're out of Los Angeles, California. I heard them before. They were known as Voyager LA many years ago. Now they are Bold Journey, and it's all inclusive, and it's the coolest thing because I checked out the website. It's women, men, young people, old people, everybody is on this thing, and they're content creators, and all of them, including myself, are entrepreneurs, and they talk about leadership and development of that as well. But it's an opportunity to put people on a greater platform. And what I like about them, they're not charging nobody to interview you to put you out there. So it's going to help me in a much bigger level, uh, and it's truly a blessing. So I want to thank you to everybody. See you next week. Um, be well with yourself, be happier, live in harmony with yourself and your environment. Thank you for supporting me in the way that you've done through all of these years, even the last couple of years. Many of you that are on here have known me since 2022, when you saw me on Lloyd's Numbers and You. In fact, I might be on Lloyd's show maybe Monday, the day after my birthday, might be the 17th, because I'm teaching Wednesday night. And by that time, I'm also teaching Tuesday nights. So I'll probably put in a good word for myself. Put me on so I can get some of that other attention. Anyway, my throat is about to go. So I'm going to say take care, peace, love, and harmony. We do this for Chad Bozeman. All right, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Nice to see you again. Bye now.